In this tutorial, we're going to use Adobe Photoshop to enhance and highlight some of the heroes in this Avengers scene. We don't want to enhance the entire scene, we want some of it to fade into the background while we pick out particular heroes. In this case, Captain America, Iron Man and the Hulk. If I go to today's lesson, I can see that we have Avengers Street, and I'm going to copy that image, which puts that onto the clipboard. If I now go to File and New in Photoshop, then the clipboard size, width and height should match up to the image I've just picked up. So I'm going to call this Avengers, click on OK, and then Edit and Paste to insert that image in here. That comes on as layer 1, which is above the white background. So the first thing I'm going to do is to flatten image, and that way I've got a single layer at the moment to work with. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is to try and lift Captain America by making him a little bit brighter. Actually, sorry, if I follow the instructions, I've got to make the Hulk greener first of all. So I'll start with the Hulk. So back at Photoshop, I'm going to use the quick selection tool. So the magic wand tool might be showing. If you hold that in, you'll get the quick selection tool. And I can just start to paint onto the Hulk's body here, into his head. And you see it's spilled over there. I'll fix that in just a minute. I also want to, so I've got the negative tool chosen here, so I'm going to use the plus tool here. I'm going to add some bits to that, including his legs, because they are part of his skin, which is what's going to be becoming greener. And there's a bit of a leg over here as well. But I've got some bits that shouldn't be in there. I'm going to just take his hair as well there. So I'm going to switch to the negative brush here. I can use the Alt key instead, but it's maybe just easier to see what I'm doing if I've chosen a particular brush. And I'm going to take out this background here, smear across there, take out bits of Iron Man's armour, take out this exploding thing behind his elbow, and obviously take out all of Iron Man from the front. Now, the quick select brush can only do so much. It doesn't get things absolutely perfect. So what you might have to do is to actually go into some of the other selection tools to refine your edges. That's actually, no, that's taken that away. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to take away these bits of Iron Man's chest. Just try clicking on his shoulder there and there. No. So this is where I'm going to start to refine. And the first thing I'm going to do is to zoom in with the magnifying tool. And then I'm going to go to the lasso tool here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the shift key down. You see it becomes a lasso tool with a plus next to it. And I'm just going to try and carefully trace the rest of the Hulk skin there. Then I'm going to switch to the Alt key to remove part of Iron Man's armour here. So Shift to add and Alt to remove. See, I've got a section behind here, so I'm going to use Shift and I'm going to trace down into Iron Man's neck a bit more there. I've taken some of his armour here, so Alt and come round the outside, maybe even down to here, and that's removed that from the selection. A little nip in there to remove as well. And I'm going to scroll down and have a look at his legs, because that's an area that's difficult to get hold of here. Yep, so I'm going to use the Alt key, remove Iron Man's armour, remove Iron Man's thumb, but the rest of it is probably all right, because you've got trousers here, so I'm not too fussed about that bit there. Click back to the magnifying glass and fit screen. We'll just get to see what we're doing. And what I'm going to do is, to make him a bit greener, I'm going to include his hair here as well. So Shift key, lasso, Shift key, and just carefully bring his hair into the selection. And then Alt key and remove this bit behind his neck. Okay, so having selected all of the Hulk's skin, I'm going to apply an adjustment layer. So I'm going to open up adjustments here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply a colour balance. Now, the colour balance can be applied to shadows, midtones, or highlights. And really what we want is the highlighted bits to be more green. So if I go to highlights and take this towards cyan, this towards green, and this maybe a little bit towards yellow, and you see we've got a really strong green on the Hulk now. So that looks like a good adjustment there. I'm now going to repeat this kind of process. I'm going to go back to this quick selection. I'm going to take Captain America. Should hopefully be a little bit easier to take out of his background. So down his arms, obviously spilled over there a little bit. And that's the minus bit, so clicking on plus, joining that on onto his shield, all over his body, and then back to minus and remove any parts here that we don't want. Bits between his arms. A little bit of ground here. I'm going to have to go back to adjustments here. So again, using the Shift key to add, I'm going to include his red glove there. I'm going to include his little bit of shoulder here. I'm going to include his face mask here. And I'm going to use the Alt key to remove this little area from underneath his arm. It doesn't have to be exact here. Obviously, the neater you do it, the better it'll look. But that is probably good enough for me at the moment. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back from the colour balance, and I'm going to look at applying a different thing here. I'm going to maybe do the brightness contrast on Captain America. So I'm going to brighten him up. So that he really stands out from the background, and a little bit more contrast as well. Don't go overboard. Obviously you could ramp it all the way up, but it'll then look very blown out. So you want it to still look as if it's part of the same scene. So something about there is more prominent than it was before. Okay, and then the final thing we need to do, same kind of thing. I'm going to use the quick selection tool. I'm going to try and pick up all the parts of Iron Man. It'd have been a really good idea to save my selection for the Hulk, because then I could have subtracted that from anything I picked up, and it would mean we wouldn't accidentally have bits of Hulk in our picture. Again, I'm back at minus here, so plus to add the brush on. Add in the outside of Iron Man's glove. Some little extra bits in there. And then back to minus and remove Hulk's trousers, which you need to be careful about doing that in public. Remove Hulk's leg, a little bit in there. And then back to small adjustments, the Alt key to remove bits you don't want. The Shift key to add in bits you do want. And I'm just being quite rough here because I want to try and get this all fitted into one video. That was the wrong key to use. I should have used the Alt key there. There we go, and a last tidy up of Hulk-like parts up here. So I'm going to end up with a little bit of the Hulk here because I'm just going to quickly do this to show you the effect we're looking for. So I'm going to come back to adjustments. I'm going to use vibrance here, and I'm going to increase the vibrance and the saturation so we get a really nice red and gold of Iron Man's costume that really stands out from the background. And there we have it. So our original image looked like that, a little bit dull, and we have got a greener Hulk, a brighter Captain America, and a more vibrant Iron Man.